To start climbing Nice, you need to stop blaming your team, stop playing horrible champions, and start playing to win. That'll be $350. And since Nice has been struggling so much in Platinum 2, I, a leading expert on the field of Nice, I guess you could say, not really, but I do watch a little bit of Nice, and I obviously have been paying attention to his climb and what he's been playing, what works for him, what doesn't. I am going to give him advice on what will get him to the top of the Korean leader board like he has been trying to for so long and been putting so many hours into the game. I think if he listens to my advice, there's no way he's going to hit Challenger, right? He's too bad for that. But Masters, maybe. It's in the cards, and I'm going to give my advice on what I think he should do. The first and most important thing I'm going to say that Nice needs is a better mental. And this is interesting because he's always marketed himself as a no-excuse coach and as someone with a mental of a monk, but he has not been having this. He's been raging and inting because of it. He's been getting close to getting banned on his accounts. He's said some horrible stuff in chat, and it's just not a good idea to be filming people like he is if you are really looking to climb. I'm gonna go show some examples of that. Okay, and Neace has just been flaming his teammates horrendously.
They don't give me scuttle either!
This is an example of it. I wanted to show a quick clip to prove it. Look at his team they're fighting here. He's not trying to help him with this ult or anything, and he does finally, without any backup.
GG, you guys are fucking garbage. I hope you all fucking just get hit by buses.
And now he is hoping they all get hit by buses. And again, this is not the first time he's hoped they can get hit by buses.
Useless carries!
This is not the mentality of a climber.
43 minutes of useless! I shouldn't type to them, but this is awful. This is the worst team I've seen in forever.
He has literally said that he is going to stop typing in his chat as one of his agreements to start climbing this season. But he hasn't done that, clearly. And his team's actually up kills, and his team has not been that horrible performing, obviously. That fight, he kind of threw it. Personally, in my opinion, it was largely his fault, and I don't know what's wrong with him. He can't be blaming his teams like this. It's not a good mental, and he won't climb. Because it's just deluding yourself. You need to actually be improving rather than just saying that your teammates need to improve.
Like, what did he do? The set is just, what is he asleep?
I'm sure he's asleep.
Jungle is actually pretty whack.
Yeah, your role is weak. It's not your
But I played this well. Yeah, they're great people.
They're great people.
43 minutes. I've just been constantly poking and prodding and fucking with them and getting no help, no push, no damage, no wards, no nothing. Just constant.
Alright, I think that this is a good enough example to prove that Nice is not willing to accept responsibility for his losses. This is just from today. It's not even like a very old clip or nothing like that. And he wishes death on his teammates, types to them. And his team was up kills too, so it's a bit flabbergasting to me that he can actually do this. He's just such an angry person at his core, and angry Nice, it really does reflect who Nice is. And Nice has also been beefing with his own chat a lot. And as I've said already, he's banned subscribers for suggesting builds and stuff like that, but he's also just been beefing with his chat for, like, pretty much whatever reason. If they mention, like, TF Blade or something, it's like a ban. That's just another thing. He just loves to beef with people. I don't know. I think that's why he blames his teammates so much. But I think if he stops blaming his teammates and just focusing on his own gameplay, maybe he can actually get a little bit better. That's not the only issue with Nice, though, and I think that Nice has far bigger issues than just his teammates. And ironically enough, I think the thing that is actually holding Nice back the most is his champion pool. And Nice has marketed himself as a really intelligent coach who knows everything about the game and what champions you should pick. He has made countless videos about, like, top 5 champions in X roll for getting diamond. But he's not following that advice. He also tells people to stick to 1 or 2 champions, learn them, and get really good on them. That's pretty much what every, like, player in the League community says that knows anything about the game. But he's not following any of this advice that he's been giving out, because he is playing a list of absurd champions. He's been playing probably about, like, 20 champions semi-consistently over the course of his climb this season and the end of the last. He just took up Hecarim. He's been playing Zac, Trendemir, Kindred, Maokai, and a bunch of more. And a lot of these champions he sucks at, and I don't even know why he would try. Like Nidalee, for example. An insanely mechanical champion who takes a lot of skill and a lot of knowledge of jungling. Neace does not have a lot of knowledge of jungling because he's not a jungle main. He's a top main. He also does not have the mechanics to play Nidalee, yet he still egos Nidalee a lot. It's his ego, I think, really, is making his champion pool be the way it is. If he were to cut out things like Nidalee, things like Kindred, which Kindred is what got him to Platinum originally. It's what embarrassed him originally, because he cannot play Kindred. It's too mechanical a champion. Neace himself has said he thinks he can play mechanical champions. Newsflash, you can't, okay? You need to stick to things like your Zac if you're going to be playing jungle. Things like your Maokai if you're going to be playing jungle. But then this is a almost even bigger issue than like the champions. It's the role selection. He has been playing jungle. Now, technically jungle is his highest earning role this season, yes. But that's because it's pretty much the only role he's even tried this season. I think he should be playing top lane this season. His top lane stats aren't even that bad when he's been trying out some really weird champions, and he's not necessarily a horrible top laner. Sure, he's not a challenger tier top laner, but he has a pretty good Trendemir. It's got him up to mid-high diamond in Korea. He also plays Fiora a little bit. I wouldn't say Fiora's the best. He could play some really simple champions like Garen. He's played Garen in the past. And I think that sticking to his basics is what will get him to climb. And I know that people could be like, oh, Neace won't get as much credit if he hits high elo playing champions he's played in the past or roles he's played in the past. But he will still get more credit than being hard stuck Platinum will. And a lot less embarrassment. I don't even know why Neace is trying out Hecarim in the jungle. He just seemingly tries out strategies at random without any discipline, without any reason behind it. He has wanted to play hyper aggro in the jungle. Now he's trying to play like hyper farming in the jungle, I guess. But that's not a good idea for him. He needs to stick to top lane, farming, split pushing, playing to win the game. He can do that, and he can hit a little like decent, maybe even masters if he did that for like a full season, gets 1,000 games, and actually improves doing that. Gets to learn the server. Okay, and the final thing I want to talk about, and this is obviously a big one, but it's not one I necessarily feel the most qualified to talk about. I am a higher rank than Neace'S currently, but I'm not like a challenger player or nothing. I'm not a jungle main. I'm not like some kind of goat of gaming when it comes to gameplay, so I will give him some advice on this area, involving stuff like builds and things like just basic jungle pathing, but currently, as it stands, he's been playing Hecarim, and he's been going 3 clamp clear into either a gank mid or bot. And this is an example of how the ganks can turn out, and this is why I don't think it's the best idea when you're playing Hecarim. Alright, so obviously he's coming in for a gank here. Support died, that's kind of unlucky. He's seeing some nice damage onto him, but at this point he just has to back out, right?
I don't really understand the
Okay, and his ADC gets flashed on. He baited his ADC. That's fine. At least he should get Leone here, right? Well,
they got me.
He doesn't.
Damn.
And he actually is going to die here. That's an example of why ganking on Hecarim early is not the best idea. You should be farming. I think that it is a decent response. Neace thinks it's like how he has to respond to the meta, but it's not what I see people like Doinel doing. And I know Doinel's not the only Hecarim. He's been watching this GM Korean Hecarim, who we call so much better than Doinel, and saying he's like pretty much the goat of Hecarim, and that he's all you should look at when you're going Hecarim. But he's also been going a pretty bad build. Apparently, he's been going mostly like Divine Thunderer, right? That's something that like people like Doinel have said is pretty bad because it makes you still squishy and does a lot less damage than other builds. And then most recently, Neace has been going, believe it or not, Triforce and Umbral Hecarim. That is disgusting. I don't know if the GM Hecarim he watched it started building this or what, but this is just a disgusting build. No one builds either of these items on Hecarim. I don't even know why you would. Neace's build needs a lot of work, and for someone who calls himself a coach, it's a bit interesting he goes to these items. I mean, his pathing is questionable, as I just showed you, but his item choice, that's a lot easier, that's a lot simpler. I don't know why he isn't building something a little bit better. But, I mean, that's going to pretty much conclude what I think I feel ready to do for the gameplay section. Let me know if you think that Neace is going to ever implement any of these ideas. Let me know if you have anything else you would add for Neace, if you disagree with anything I've said, or just anything Neace related in general. And please like, subscribe. Yeah.